Have you ever wondered how you would treat someone if you believed they had nothing to offer you? Would you still smile? Would you still stop to help? Sometimes, the greatest test of our character comes when no one important seems to be watching. But what if the quiet man sweeping the hallway was actually the person who could change your life forever? Today's story is about a powerful CEO who hid his identity and spent an entire week working as a janitor inside his own company. Hundreds of employees walked past him without a second glance. Some ignored him. Some treated him as if he didn't matter. But one young trainee chose kindness over status, and that simple decision changed both of their lives forever. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Stories of Kindness, give this video a like, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from and what kindness means to you. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories that remind the world that compassion still exists. Nathan Brooks stood at the top floor of Brooks Technologies, looking through the giant glass windows over the city. At only 48 years old, he had built one of the fastest-growing software companies in America. His company had won awards, attracted brilliant engineers, and earned millions of dollars. Yet something troubled him. Every quarterly report showed impressive numbers, but employee surveys told another story. Workers felt disconnected. New hires complained that the company cared more about profits than people. Managers insisted everything was fine, but Nathan wasn't convinced. "I don't need another report," he quietly told his executive assistant. "I need the truth." A week later, he arrived before sunrise wearing faded work pants, old sneakers, and a gray maintenance shirt with the name, Nick, stitched above the pocket. Even the security guards believed he was a temporary janitor hired through an outside company. His job was simple: empty trash cans, clean break rooms, mop hallways, wipe fingerprints from glass doors, and watch. The first morning was heartbreaking. Employees rushed past him while staring at their phones. Some left coffee cups on freshly cleaned tables without saying a word. One manager accidentally bumped into him and simply frowned as if Nathan had been in the way. "Watch where you're standing," the manager muttered before walking off. Nathan quietly picked up the spilled papers and continued sweeping. By lunchtime, he had become invisible. Except to one person. Emily Carter was 23 years old and had started as a marketing trainee only 3 days earlier. She noticed the janitor struggling to carry 2 heavy boxes toward the storage room. "Need a hand?" she asked with a warm smile. Nathan looked surprised. "You don't have to," he replied. "I know," Emily answered. "That's why I'm offering." Together they carried the boxes down the hallway. "Thank you," Nathan said. "My grandma always told me every job deserves respect," Emily replied. "Without people like you, none of us could work here." Those words stayed with Nathan long after she walked away. The next day he watched Emily even more carefully. She greeted receptionists by name. She thanked cafeteria workers after every meal. She held elevators for strangers instead of letting the doors close. When another trainee laughed because the janitor accidentally dropped his mop, Emily immediately walked over. "Are you okay?" she asked Nathan. Then she looked at the laughing trainee. "It could happen to any of us." The laughter stopped instantly. Nathan noticed something else. Emily wasn't pretending to be kind because someone important might notice. She acted exactly the same whether anyone was watching or not. On Wednesday afternoon, Nathan found her sitting alone in the cafeteria reading training materials. "You work pretty hard," he said. She smiled. "I have too. Trying to impress your boss." Emily shook her head. "I'm trying to make my mom proud." She explained that her mother had worked 2 jobs after Emily's father passed away. College hadn't been easy. Student loans were waiting. This internship represented the opportunity her family had dreamed about for years. "I don't know if they'll hire me," she admitted. "But I'm going to give everything I have." Nathan listened quietly. Not once did she complain about life being unfair. Instead, she spoke with gratitude. On Thursday morning, Nathan intentionally left a small wallet near the employee entrance. Several people walked past it. One employee picked it up, looked around, and slipped it into his backpack. A few minutes later Emily spotted it. She immediately brought it to the reception desk. "I think someone lost this," she said. She never opened it. She never looked inside. She simply hoped it would find its owner. Nathan couldn't help smiling. That afternoon, heavy rain poured outside. Most employees hurried toward the parking garage with umbrellas. Nathan remained outside trying to push a supply cart through the rain. Emily stopped. "You'll get soaked. I still have another building to clean." Without hesitation, she handed him her own umbrella. "What about you?" Nathan asked. "I'll run to my car." "You'll be drenched." She laughed. "It's only water." Before Nathan could refuse, she ran through the rain, completely soaked but smiling the entire way. He stood there holding the umbrella, deeply moved. Friday finally arrived. Every employee received an email requiring attendance at a company-wide meeting. Hundreds gathered inside the large auditorium. People whispered, wondering why the CEO himself would address everyone. Nathan entered from backstage wearing a perfectly tailored navy suit. The room erupted into applause. Emily stared in confusion. His face looked strangely familiar. Nathan walked to the microphone. "For the past week," he began, "I've had the privilege of working beside many of you." The room became silent. "Although most of you didn't recognize me." Gasps echoed across the auditorium. Photos appeared on the giant screen showing Nathan cleaning hallways, carrying trash bags, and mopping floors. Several employees lowered their heads in embarrassment. Nathan wasn't angry. He looked disappointed. "I learned something important," he continued. "Culture isn't created in boardrooms. It's created in hallways, break rooms, elevators, and everyday conversations." He paused. Many people treated the janitor as though he didn't matter. The room remained painfully quiet. "But one trainee reminded me why I started this company." Emily's eyes widened as Nathan smiled toward her. "Emily Carter, would you please come to the stage?" Her hands trembled. The audience applauded as she slowly walked forward. "I thought you were the janitor," she whispered. Nathan laughed softly. "I was." The audience chuckled. Nathan turned back toward everyone. "Emily never knew who I was. She never expected anything in return. She simply chose kindness every single day." He described how she carried boxes, defended him, returned the wallet, and gave away her umbrella. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Then Nathan surprised everyone again. "Today, I'm creating a new annual award called the Human First Award. It recognizes employees who treat people with dignity regardless of their position." He handed Emily the first crystal trophy. Along with it came a full-time position at the company, complete student loan assistance, and the opportunity to work directly with senior leadership. Emily burst into tears. "I don't deserve all this," she whispered. Nathan smiled warmly. "You earned it long before today." The standing ovation lasted several minutes. But the greatest change happened after that meeting. Managers began learning the names of maintenance workers. Executives started eating lunch with interns. Employees thanked security guards, receptionists, and cafeteria staff. The company didn't just become more successful. It became more human. Months later, Brooks Technologies was recognized as one of the best places to work in America. When reporters asked Nathan what had transformed the company, he didn't mention new policies or expensive training programs. He simply smiled. "One young woman reminded us that every person deserves kindness." Emily often walked through those same hallways, still greeting everyone she met. She never acted differently because of her promotion. She believed kindness wasn't something you turned on when people were watching. It was simply who you chose to be. And maybe that's the greatest lesson of all. You never know who someone really is. More importantly, you never know what someone is carrying inside their heart. Every smile, every thank you, every helping hand has the power to change a life in ways you'll never fully understand. So today, choose kindness even when there's nothing to gain. Treat every person with dignity, whether they're the CEO, the janitor, or a stranger you'll never meet again. Because in the end, people rarely remember your job title, but they never forget how you made them feel. If you'd like, I can also create 5 cinematic image prompts and SEO-friendly YouTube title, description, and tags for this story.